Hello, this is Greg Alson, Green Greg's, coming to you on the 3rd of August, 21. Time on deck, 4,600 hours Central Daylight Time. Is the Mideast on the verge of catching on fire? I mean, it is getting crazy. The tensions are ratcheting up really fast right now since there it appears the Iranians had attacked the MC Mercer and blew a hole in the side, causing some people to meet their demise, including a Romanian and a British citizen. This has some voices in the United Kingdom calling for the United Kingdom and the U.S. to retaliate against Iran. I mean, attack Iran. Also, there are indications that Israelis, Prime Minister Bennett, is really hinting that they may be considering doing the same all on their own. Guys, not only has this occurred, but suddenly 6 vessels in the Gulf of Oman lost control as they didn't have any steering or propulsion. Did they get hit by a little EMP attack or what? But that hit right upon that happening. There's been a ship, the Panamanian flag Asphalt Princess, that's been hijacked and ordered to Iran apparently. So and Iran is telling the rest of these other nations, oh please, we didn't do this. No, don't blame it on us. And we're warning you against military adventurism. And they've warned, actually warned the British that they would attack them. Guys, this is going nuts. What's happening? Will this calm down? Will it get worse? I'll bring you this. I'm going to go all into it as part of my Eyes Wide Open and Head on a Swivel series. Because, guys, it's beginning to come faster and furious. There may be other things behind this. Maybe other players. Maybe all of this is a puppet show. Maybe there's somebody else behind the curtains who really wants something else. What is cooking? What is going on? So, look, I bring you a lot of stories like this just so you know what's going on, so that you'll know to not be scared, but be prepared. That's a key thing. Don't panic. So if you lose your head, you might lose your head. You got to keep your wits about you. So I'll bring you these kind of stories to help you get through these trying times, the things that may come upon us. And yes, this may come here. We may see things happening right here in our homeland as a basis. I'll get into that in a moment. I've talked about these kind of things in the past. You can watch my many videos on these kind of things. I also do a lot of videos and talking about things that we can do to prevent some of this stuff from happening. But this is starting to cook real fast, guys. This may be gone too far, but it has implications that may ripple across many other things going on in the world. Yeah, this may have a domino effect, and I'll explain that. If you've not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and ring the notification bell and click all so you can get my notifications, because I also show how to eat free from the weeds and trees, which might be important when some of these things happen. Because we may lose our power grid over some of this stuff. I'll talk about that. I'll talk about, hey, I also do videos on gardening. Nothing like this year because I had a car wreck. And I've not been able to get out there in my garden as much. And so it's suffering. That and my day job has been very intense this past few months. So, I've not done as much. I've done videos on worms and worm farming. I still have worms, but I'm not ready to sell them yet. So more on that in the future too. Now, all this said, guys, I do try to bring you other things to help you. And one of the great deals I've got for you right now, if you go to prepwithgreg.com, right now you may really want to do this because what's cooking in the world. If you go to prepwithgreg.com, you can get $300 off a 3-month supply of this food that lasts for 25 years or longer. Really should last about 30 years or better. Because this stuff, it's not the old mushy, dehydrated stuff. This is freeze-dried food, my friends. It's lightweight. It carries a lot of stuff and a low weight because it's freeze-dried. And it's very portable with these buckets. It's easy to store. It's got pouches in here. If you need to go on maneuvers, you can put hiking, bugging out, put that in your backpack. It's a lot easier to carry the canned food and a whole lot lighter weight too. And guys, for the kind of price we're talking, if you can get the 3-month supply, guys, that's like $2 and 60 some odd cents per meal. I mean, good grief. For something that's going to last so long, that's so well packaged, that's a bargain. And with food prices going up, it really is a bargain. This could be a real investment in the future, guys. So just think about it that way. Check it out. There's also, if you can't afford 3 months supply, you get right now 25% off of a 1 month supply with something on the order like $74 of some change. All right, guys, so let's go all into this. Let's talk about what is happening here. I'm going to do some shares to go into some of these articles. I've had to close down a bunch of articles because my computer is choking. I'm going to close a few as we read through this just because this old computer I'm running on just can't handle many windows open at all. I mean, almost about nothing compared to a little old laptop. Yeah, I could do this kind of videos on my laptop, but they don't have enough hard drive to handle all the videos. I used to put them on hard, that little guy, but also don't have the resources for the cameras and other things like this. Old desktop running Windows 7 or something. Yeah, I got to get it updated. It's just time and money. All right, guys, let's do a share here. We are going to go over here and look at some articles. All right. And we're going to try to close the film. I hope this don't destroy the quality of my video if I'm so overtaxed here. Must pay the price. Commentator calls for direct U.S.-UK military action against Iran. So, guys, I'm not kidding you. There are people calling for this. That don't mean that's what's going to happen. I'm just telling you there are people calling for it. I did have to close one of the tabs out which said the U.S. is right now considering a consolidated response, a collective response, that is, that the United States is considering launching against Iran. Collective. I guess that's to include several countries. Oh, no, it said the United States would lead a collective response. That's what the United States announced yesterday. But there's more stuff cooking here. There's a lot more stuff cooking now since all this. But this right here deals with the, this is Niall Gardner talking. I don't know how you pronounce it with the I in there. Gardner. I suppose Gardner. Director of the Margaret Thatcher Center for Freedom. Okay, so he's a conservative, and you might expect him to take a conservative stance. See, this original attack on the MC Mercer Street occurred. It's an oil tanker, 152 nautical miles off the coast of Oman last Thursday. And since then, things have been really cooking up, guys. It has been ratcheting up. This is not the latest thing to happen, but this is the one that really started a lot of back and forth here on this stuff, guys. So I'm going to kill this article. These British articles are the ones that eats up the most memory with all the little goofy ads that run on them. Hang on. It may take a minute for it to even kill out. It's got so much stuff. It takes a moment for my computer to process it, killing out. Hopefully it won't mess up my video quality as it does so. Give me a second, guys. Yeah, I'm running Silicon Abacus here for a computer. Well, I click kill, they ain't dead yet. There we go. Here's the next article. See, now I'm down to 4 tabs. I bet I'm still choking on memory. I'm still choking on memory. So there's another British article over here. Maybe I should go to it. Kill that. This is British article. No, that's Bloombergers. Yikes. Well, yeah. Israel said it had hard evidence that Iran is behind last week's deadly attack in the Gulf of Oman. And the UK Navy on Tuesday, which is today for us here, reported another incident in the same waters without giving you further details. Well, that's what we're getting into. Another incident. Yeah, it took a Briton and a Romanian out, see. Read more. U.S., Israel, UK vow action against Iran on tanker attack. So there's a lot of people making a lot of vows of action, UK to the UN. So this is cooking, guys. I'm not going to read this article, so I'm going to try to kill it, just free up some memory. Show you some of these others. Bear with me a second, pretty please. I'm sorry that things are choking. I am going to have to do something about this computer. It's getting to be a little bit too hard. I can have a zillion windows open on my other computers. And even that didn't bring the memory use down hardly. Wow, okay, crazy. Sometimes you close everything out and it's like residual something here running in the background on Google. All right. I'll close everything up because I want some of these pictures here. All right. Bennett, Iran's days of settling Mideast, Iran's days of setting Mideast on fire are over. Bennett just says, Iran, you're over. This isn't going to happen anymore. This is coming to an end. This is kind of language we're talking about, guys. The Prime Minister of Israel's efforts to bring the international community to its side added at the same time, get this, guys, here it is. This is from Prime Minister Bennett. He replaced Netanyahu, if y'all don't know that. At the same time, we know how to act alone. Okay, he says, well, if the international community isn't going to step up the plate, we're going to do it. Israel will no longer allow Iran to continue its aggression with impunity. Now, bear in mind, there's been all kinds of explosions going on in Iran that Israel was behind. So, this has been a smoldering war for some time now, and it's getting hotter. And it looks like this powder keg may be about to blow. Iran already knows the price that we exact when someone threatens our security. The Iranians need to understand that it is impossible to sit peacefully in Tehran and from there to ignite the Mideast. That is over. So this is a huge statement. This is a huge statement from Bennett. Talking about the Mercer Street here again. So huge, huge statement. The increase in the defense budget as part of the recent state budget that the cabinet passed on Sunday is a reflection of Israel's seriousness about investing in countering the Iranian threat. So Israel is getting behind this thing. They're worried about this new president of Iran. They call it Butcher of Tehran. So, some people had hoped that Tehran and the Iranians would go more moderate, but by electing the current President of Iran, which they refer to here as the Butcher of Tehran, excuse me, their hopes are pretty much dashed in that area. And some of the articles I wanted to show you guys, which got taken off here, were articles about Rouhani in Iran actually admitted that Israel did steal their files, that the files that Netanyahu had claimed that they had stolen on their nuclear program. Well, he's claiming that happened. And what those files claimed was that Iran definitely had aggressive plans to build a bomb. That's what that was all about, at least according to Netanyahu. And it seems to be somewhat confirmed now. So given that and where Iran is enrichment, this may be behind what Prime Minister of Israel, Bennett, is talking about here. So I'm going to kill that article too, because I need more room here. 1 minute, please. Thanks. I'll just jump down one. There we go. I'll just have 2 tabs open. This is the die. She's choking. That means just one of these other 2 tabs is the ones that's probably committing the offensive. You know what I mean? Interesting. Very teensy-weensy slight decrease in memory use. Wow. Probably something running background. I'll probably kill all these tabs and still have my memory. My memory's almost maxed out. I almost can't use this computer. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah, I've had files moving a little slow and all kinds of stuff. Okay. Iran TV reports says attack on Israeli ship was revenge for Syrian raid. Yeah, see, Israel. See, there's been a feud between Israel and Syria. I mean, Israel and Iran, excuse me. Some have taken place in Syria. It's been a tit for tat feud. It's been going on. And also there's been explosions in Tehran and all through Iran over the past, ever since, last summer, guys, and before. And quite a few other things that's been happening. So you can figure all this stuff figures in. It all comes to play. And it's like the same pictures playing over because it's from the Jerusalem Post. So I'm going to close this one out. It's probably the next article that's eating on my memory. And when probably a Bloomersburger article. Oh, Bloomersburger. I did a video on him sometime back. Okay, we're going to put it down to 1 tab. It's my memory so we maxed up. I bet it will. I'm gonna have to close every tab just to record this video or to make it, or it'll crash. Wow. Now I have to go into memory and manually delete Google things that are still running. Probably. Give me a second. One moment, please, guys. 1 minute. One moment. Uh-oh. What's happening? Oh, we're still good. There we are. Now we're down to 1. All right. That got my memory freed up a little bit. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. Enough to operate. Okay. I got margin then. Good. Guys, here we are. Check this out. I had to delete the article talking about all the ships that lost control. Before this happened, oil tanker hijacked by 8 or 9 armed men in order to sell to Iran. Now, mind you, there was the U.S. C-130 that was sent in following this. It just kind of disappeared off the radar, at least the tracking system, not the radar, but the tracking system got shut up down so they could track this thing in stealth. So there's stuff in play, guys. There's something cooking. I don't know if that means, you know, it could just be entirely that we send a flying in to monitor, but the C-130 is a big aircraft to send in just monitoring. They're kind of loud. You know, we called them a flying pig when I was in the Army because they had that big spout with the nose on them, and they carry grunts. Soldiers, we called them grunts, guys. So, you know, we called a C-130 a flying pig, but it's still a very amazing aircraft. This is talking about the Panamanian flag MV Asphalt Princess was seized in the area of the Arabian Sea leading to the Strait of Hormuz. Now, I believe that's the Gulf of Oman. Again, yep, the Gulf of Oman, guys. You see right here, this is where all this stuff is going on. This is where it's all happening, guys. Ships that were lost control, they were hijacked electronically, and this ship was seized physically. There's a lot of ships in the area, as you can see here. A lot of activity because a lot of ships go through this narrow Strait of Hormuz, come out of the Persian Gulf, going into the Gulf of Oman, out into the Arabian Sea, into the Indian Ocean and around. So this is what happens, guys. Tanker, there it is. The Asphalt Princess. So let me stop the share. I'm going to just talk a bit. Okay. Hello. All right, guys. Tensions are going out the roof right now between the United States, the United Kingdom, Israel, and Iran. Bear in mind, Iran is backed by Russia and China. I would suspend Russia and China have really ratcheted up the drills they've been doing lately. One wonders, you know, China just gave Russia something like $4 billion or something better just very recently. You got to wonder, you know, that was supposed to ensure the survival of the Ayatollah regime that's currently ruling over Iran. It's not a very popular government, by the way, in Iran. I always want to tell you there's good people in any and every place in the world. Good-hearted people who give you the shirt off their back. That includes Iranians. There's a lot of good people there. A lot of them will not be without that government running. A lot of those people are here in the United States. But my main study buddy in college was Iranian. One of my best professors in college was Iranian. He became the dean of the school for electrical engineering at the University of Alabama in Huntsville, where Roy Spencer works, by the way. Some of you know him, Dr. Roy Spencer. So there's good people from every background and every village, every hamlet, and every religion, race, color, creed, however you want to slice and dice. There's good and bad in anything. So, but it's the governments that you have to worry about anywhere and everywhere. All governments. The more totalitarian, the more control they exercise on their freedom, the more you got to worry about. The less freedom they give their people, we're going to be sliding down that slope ourselves. All in the name of security and maintaining our freedoms or giving them up. That don't make any sense. Like a so-called patriot thing that they refer to as an act. There's an act passed. How do you pass an act that supersedes amendments to the Constitution that have a constitutional process to follow? I just got to really ask that question. You know, many of you know I'm a big fan of freedom of the Constitution of the United States. And some people are just trying to discard it and throw it away. That reason I started Freedom Restoration Foundation, my friends. Restoration, not preservation. We've lost too much already. FreedomRestorationFoundation.org. Write me at info@freedomrestoration.foundation.org and put freedom in the subject line if you're interested in that. Okay, let's get on with this. What might be cooking? Now, what I'm worried about here is this. You know, I'm worried about a lot of things. If we get into it with Iran, the head of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard was allegedly told by someone that, hey, you know, there's only 9 critical transformers in the United States. If you can figure out which ones they are and take them out, they would take down the entire U.S. power grid. This is something I didn't come up with this. Some people, Greg, you shouldn't be saying that. Let me tell them it. Oh, everybody knows this. This is already common knowledge. The question is which 9 is it? Well, his response to that was, don't worry about it. I've already got 20 targeted with my what do you call them? His groups they had here in the United States. You know, they got little sleeper cells. He said, I've already got 20 of them targeted by sleeper cells in the United States. 20. Now we're talking about probably the kind of attacks that occurred in the Metcalf station in San Jose several years ago. Somebody went in with AK-47s and did a dry run just to practice, you know, to see what they could do. And they shot it up a bit. Not, you know, they knew what to target, but they didn't take it to the point of absolutely taking it down. It was like, you know, some of the SEAL team members went in and said, oh, this is what we would do if we were going to do a dry run on something, you know. So who did that? Well, that happened in conjunction with a lot of stuff the North Koreans were doing. So some of us think that was a North Korean exercise, but North Korea and Iran are pretty tight countries, by the way. So who's to say? Who's to say? But as I mentioned before, you know, there are allegations that there were 2 nuclear missiles that disappeared in Kazakhstan when the Soviet Union fell, before they gave all their nukes back to Russia. And supposedly this is why they gave their a source why they gave their nukes back to Russia is because they lost control and lost to them. Scared them, the consequences it could have on them. And allegedly, those went to Iran. 2 fully erect missiles with warheads, nuclear, allegedly. Now, some people think that Iran's further along in their enrichment program. I don't know. I can't say, but we do know there was a lot of stuff on the black market when the Soviet Union fell. Lots of stuff. There were countries that had some money in their pockets who would be happy to pay. And the people that had the goods on hand were starving. And a lot of stuff was sold just so someone could buy a refrigerator. Yeah, there was some uranium stolen and sold just so somebody could buy a refrigerator. The Soviets, the former Soviets, the Russians, were starving after the wall fell, and they had all this stuff sitting around freely at their fingertips that was worth a lot of money. There were people out there with money who were willing to buy it. And there were a whole lot of resistance between those 2 connections. In fact, it said that some of that stuff was sitting around in facilities with almost no security at all. Actually, no security, wide open. I don't know, you know, supposedly we went in and our space station program, well, we included the Russians just so they wouldn't help Iran build a nuclear reactor. Oh, wait, Iran built a nuclear reactor with the Russian help anyway. Thanks, Bill Clinton. All right, so here we are today. With fuel being enriched, we do know that. They are enriching fuel. They're enriching it faster. They've enriched more than what we thought they would have at this point in time. And that's got Israel all up in arms. And this tit-for-tat war between the 2 is escalating. Well, then, maybe it'll all just come down magically. That's not the direction it's been going. It's been going up and up, an increasing rate going up. That's where you got to worry. That's why we got to be concerned about this. And like I said, they targeted our power grid. And the reason I brought those missiles is if you wanted to take our grid out, you could do something similar to what the North Koreans practiced. They had a tramp steamer called the Chung Chung Gang running around in the Caribbean Sea, the Gulf of Mexico. It went through, they wanted to go back around through, you know, the Cape south of South America, and somehow the weather prevented it. So they tried to get it through the Panama Canal. And on the way out, it was, they got inspected. Somebody dug under the tons and tons of bags of sugar and found 2 fully erect missiles and missile launchers sitting in ISO ship containers. They could have been sitting on the deck of that boat when it's running around in the Caribbean and in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, maybe Iran would like to do something like that, or somebody else, and blame it on Iran, or blame it on North Korea, blame it on Russia, or blame it on China. It could be any of the above players if they wanted to launch something like that in the United States and take an EMP strike on us. They did it. They did it. How would we know who did it? How would we know who to respond against? And in fact, you know, maybe some country would go to another to do something. And in fact, maybe this whole thing going on with Iran, all the tension right now, maybe that's because China sponsored them. Maybe China's encouraging this. Maybe China would love for the United States to be all tangled up in Iran while they go for Taiwan. So, you know, it'd be very hard for us to help Taiwan. It would really tax us because we've not been doing well in a lot of the war games that we've played out. At least that's what we're told. So maybe this China's way, getting the United States distracted while they go for what they want. I don't know. This is speculation. But if you were China, you'd be looking for advantages like that. And if they haven't sponsored that, and if they haven't started it, maybe they're just kind of smugly smirking over it, because maybe this is just what they want. Of course, Mother Nature is dealing them quite a few blows right now with storms and floods. So they might be a little bit hard pressed to pull it off right now at this moment. But who knows how long we could be tied up with Iran, or what we got left over, you know, in terms of munitions and capacity after a major engagement with Iran. If our grid goes down, our country's messed up. Our country's absolutely messed up at its core. I've done several videos on how bad that would be. But, you know, a grid down situation is far worse than you can imagine. I did a video on that. I did a video comparing it when I said it was worse than a nuclear war. Grid down is serious, guys. It is extremely serious. They may attack us in the MP. They may not. They may use direct ballistic attacks like was done on the Metcalf station, or it could be through hacking. But most analysts would tell you that they believe would be attacked with all 3. By the way, I've got an interview with John Hollerman tomorrow to talk about what it would be like after we lost our grid. Thursday, I got Dr. Peter Vincent Pry coming back to my channel. So we've got grid. We're going to be talking about the grid, losing the grid, and attacks that may come upon us and similar things. Dr. Peter Vincent Pry is one of the most foremost experts on these things. And he's also a expert weapon system analyst and a historian. So he's an extremely good resource. I want everybody to really check that out. John Hollerman really lays out what it could be like. So listen to somebody else talk this stuff, instead of just Greg Allison. So you got your chances tomorrow and the next day. Really, 2 really good back-to-back interviews, 2 days in a row. That you want to see. So again, what's happening here? Is China baiting us? Are they setting us up? I don't know. It just may be Iran. It just may be Iran. Is it going to come to blows? I can't say that it will. I hope it won't. But the tensions are continuing to escalate at this moment. Maybe we'll look out, some will de-escalate. It's been smoldering for quite a while, but the burn rate's been going up continuously for the last couple of years, over the last couple of years. And this has been happening despite the change of leadership in Washington, D.C. from Republican to Democratic administrations. They're all just 2 sides of the same coin, at least in these policies. So I don't know, friends. I just want to say this. Whatever happens, we are in potentially for a really rough ride. If our grid goes down, it will be catastrophic in the United States. Catastrophic. Let's hope and pray that does not happen. Let's hope and pray that don't happen. Maybe some good old boys that just ought to take it upon themselves to watch and guard our transformers. Might be the best way to keep things from happening. I don't know, guys. There's not been enough done to harden the power grid. I've been pushing for it for years. We're in 2 power grid defense conferences, and I'm still pushing for it. That's why I'm going to have John Hollerman and Peter Vincent Prowl on this channel. And we'll be talking about some other legislation out right now that I think we can press for. I'll be talking about that real soon. Okay, my friends. Well, all I'm going to say, let's just hope and pray that we get through this, that these things don't come to pass, and they get tied up in all this. We need to keep an eye on China. And hopefully, by keeping an eye on China, we can keep them from doing anything too adventuristic. We can just hold this stuff back for a while. If we can just manage somehow not to go into a war. At some point, China's going to have so many senior citizens, they're just not going to be able to pull it off. 2030, 2050, somewhere along there. We're going to see that tension die down if we can survive to that point. That's the big question. Can we? If we can. If we can, we may have a really bright future. But it's going to be tight. It's going to be tough. And that's why I tell you to be prepared. Prepare for the worst and hope and pray for the best. With that said, I'm going to say thank you, my friends, for watching. Have an awesome week. Bye.